So a scandal broke out a month ago, approximately May 13th. There was a tweet coming from Randy Pitchford, the guy behind Gearbox and thus the Borderlands games. And he came out and, he just said, I'm so very excited for the Switch 2 and even more excited to bring Borderlands 4 to this incredible magical machine. Typical promotional stuff. That's fine, whatever. Jemmy responded, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increasing the price tag. You're the CEO. You have some say when price comes to your publisher. And 2.5K likes. I think that mostly happened after his response. And here's the thing. Sometimes it's best to just put the phone down. Fair? I feel like so many of the problems with a lot of these companies come from people saying stuff that they just don't need to say. And then it creates a whole firestorm of stuff. Even now, we still reference in a joking fashion the Starfield stuff where the community support team, they were messaging people saying, well, you may not have had fun in Starfield, but when the astronauts went to the moon, they certainly weren't bored. They found things to do. And it's so stupid. And it should have never been a problem. It should have never happened. They should have just not said anything. And, there's a single line in the show Hamilton, which more people need to remember, which is talk less, smile more. Okay? Just sometimes saying nothing is way, way better. But what happened is Randy replied to this and said, A, not my call. Kind of feels like you're confirming it's $80. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starfight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. Now, I understand what he was saying, okay? Yes, it is true. Back in the day, this game was $80, and while he was working minimum wage, he found a way to make it happen because the game was worth it to him. I understand that. I understand what he's saying. It's just never, ever a good look to say, well, a real fan will make it happen. It's a you problem, brokey, especially when you're a multi-millionaire that has been out of touch for a while, okay? It's just a bad look. Now, after the fact, he came out, walked it back and apologized, basically said, yeah, I phrased things wrong. And this is kind of the age-old history with Randy, is that he just gets himself in trouble because he just is, he can't put the phone down. Okay, this happens every time he releases anything, okay? Every time. This is far from a new problem for Randy, okay? That being said, some time went by. They pretty much were saying, yeah, it's going to be $80. That's what we're doing. Sucks to suck. Well, today they opened up pre-orders and people noticed something. The complaining about the $80 price change or price tag change worked. What happened? The big news. No price increase for Borderlands 4. Standard editions launches not at 80, but at 70. They're showing you, so please show them. You can find links to pre-order Borderlands 4 PC and console versions on the store pages here. And sure enough, if you check it, you can see for yourself, they walked it back and dropped it back down to 70. Now, I will say, this is why, frankly, a lot of giving your feedback, vocalizing it is important. Companies will listen, at least if they're moderately receptive to it. And you just have to provide that feedback when you can. And if enough people do it, they'll kind of get the message, assuming they actually are trying to be receptive and open up. And in this case, as for whether or not Borderlands 4 is worth $70 to you, of course, is a separate question entirely. 70 is still a lot. That's still a full price AAA game. I'll have more to say on Borderlands soon, ... But at least they're not cranking the price up even higher. And who knows, maybe Xbox will end up walking back the Outer Worlds 2 from 80 back down to 70. We'll see. Obsidian has been reiterating repeatedly that the Outer Worlds 2 price point at being at 80 is on Xbox, not them. They keep saying, we're a game developer. We love to make games. We don't set the price for our games. Personally, as a game developer, I wish everybody could play my game because that's what I want out of the whole thing. the devs aren't happy about it. It's coming from the executives that are deciding, yeah, we're going to push 80. Yeah, we're going to push for it. Mario Kart could do it. Mario Kart could do it, so we can do it. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you. Thank you for the bless you. But I think it's good that they are being receptive to this, because at the very least, it's a sign that they're listening to the community. I think that's good. As for like what this realistically means, the $10 difference for a lot of people probably was not actually going to break the bank. Like $10 is $10, but if you're a big hardcore Borderlands player, like Randy was probably right in that original tweet that people were going to buy it. The people who weren't were the people in the middle, which is the vast, vast, vast majority of customers are the people in the middle who are not diehard going to buy it no matter what. It's those people you need to convince. And the lower price point does help open up that conversation more. And it removes one of the talking points to be upset about with Borderlands. Because as of right now, or up until an hour or two ago, anytime you mentioned Borderlands 4, the first comment was always, yeah, but what about the $80 price hike? Oh, I guess if I'm a real fan, I'd pay for it. Like, that was dominating the conversation, and at least this kind of chops that off at the knees, which I think helps the overall narrative for the game. As for its final quality, as for whether it's worth 70, still remains to be seen. I'm guessing they're going to start ramping up more promotion for it, and who knows what the reviews will be when those eventually come out in a couple of months. But I do think this is a good move, and you should applaud it when they walk back the price hike. It's still unfortunate that they tried it to begin with, but they did respond to the feedback, listen to it, and make an adjustment, which is, again, all you can really hope for. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on Borderlands 4, but a fun little update that is good. And I mean, I'm sure Randy went to the Take-Two execs and were like, guys, people are melting down over it being 80. Can we not do this? Like, can we not make this mistake? Like, the number of sales lost going to 80 would probably far outweigh the extra revenue generated by the $10 price hike from the true fans, Like, it's just not worth doing that if it's going to lose you all that extra revenue. It's why I also think that, again, like Outer Worlds 2 being 80, I think that's a huge blunder. Because I think there's a lot of people who are like, game looks good, fine, good, whatever. I don't think it looks $80 good. Even 70 for Outer Worlds 2 is like maybe a bit of a push. 80, really? And for some people, they're in the same spot with Borderlands 4, where they, these types of games they typically pick up on sale, which is fine. Or some people, a lot of people, I guess, buy these games full price at launch as well. There are some diehard Borderlands 4 or Borderlands fans out there. But if you can avoid making a needless mistake, you should do that. And it seems like they are at least walking that back and making the right move here. We'll see if other companies follow suit. I'm guessing they don't. I don't think Xbox cares, because I think the $80 price hike for Obsidian, this whole thing is just to push people into Game Pass. And then the extra price is basically a tax on PlayStation gamers buying it, to help make up for the cut that PlayStation is taking through their store. So I think for Xbox, they probably don't change this. I don't think they're that worried. But for Borderlands, I think the odds of this eventually coming back to haunt them was much higher. I think it's just, don't give people ammunition to be upset about your game. That, in the modern context of game discourse, it feels like so much of promoting your game is about just not stepping on rakes. That's like 90% of the battle. And a lot of companies still struggle with it. We even saw with Mind's Eye, just repeated mistakes, stepping on rakes and screwing themselves up in that way. But I think that this at least stepped on a rake, but then they were able to remove it and continue on. People will still remember that they tried to do the price hike, or at least it seemed like they were about to do the price hike, even if it was not like officially confirmed. But either way, it's a good move. I am glad they did it. Applause for walking it back. 70 is still a lot of money. The game needs to be pretty good to justify that price point, in my opinion, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. We won't know fully until reviews, but we'll see when that happens. Okay. He took my thing. Red flag.